What's up YouTube, Dell here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing you something extra spicy. So today I am bringing you Light and Darkness World. So I take no credit for the idea of this one. This was all submitted. Now apologies, I lost the comment of where the name was. So put in the comments down below. They provided me with the idea of this one, and I was kind of like, okay, so what's the overall synergy? What are you looking for? And then they were like, oh yeah, no, well, it's more so that Mind Shuffle discards as effect. I was like, oh damn. And then I was like, and then my brain started to tick. I was like, oh right, okay, so then Griffo's a fiend monster, as is the Skull Archfiend of Chaos. Lucian can get access to the Skull Archfiend of Chaos or Griffo. It can then also utilize the Celtic Mystic as your normal summon, which as long as you have the right things in hand to reveal, you can draw 3, discard 2 as effect. Like, there was just so much that started to roll off the back of it, and I was like, I have to test this, I have to build this, and this is where I've got to. So I'm at a 45 card deck right now. It has a very nice balance. There is the increased issue that you are adding cards that can't do a lot on their own. So you've got the Blackluster Soldier, you've got the Magician of Dark Chaos. They're not going to do anything on their own. But if you do have ways to discard, which you can do through Dark World effects and everything else, it can be really, really cool. And the idea of Griffo turn 0, getting you access to the trap card, activating Mind Shuffle, drawing a card, discarding a Dark World card, not only does that let you play during your opponent's turn for a lot of searches, but it does then also mean you've got a trap card that's set up for during the draw phase. To play around Draw and Lot Bird, you go draw phase, Mind Shuffle, draw a card, add one of the Light and Darkness cards, discard a Dark World card, trigger the effect, and then off you go and you start to build more and more. So very, very interesting build together. I will be doing you a test down video because I would be surprised if this video doesn't get 50 likes in the first 24 hours, and I know you lot want to see how this deck operates, and I want to show you how this deck operates. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss any more upcoming content. Let's start off with the Dark World cards themselves. So we are going to be playing 3 Genta of the Gateman. Gateman of the Dark World. So I think Genta is pretty self-explanatory. You need to get access to this card. You'd rather, again, I go through the same conversation every single time. The way I like to play this is 3 Genta to Gate to the Dark World, because I don't want to see Gate in my hand, because it doesn't do anything if Genta is not already in the graveyard. Some people like to play 3 and 3. I'm happy with a 3 and a 2. 3 Rainbow. Rainbow, obviously, with the discard, lets you get access to your level 5 or higher. And in this one, we are actually playing a card that's going to be quite important for us. So I'll talk about that in a second. And then, of course, we are playing 3 Snow, Unlight of Dark World. The idea is that you want to be able to drop this during your opponent's turn, search yourself out a Dark World card, and then off you go. Then we've got the 2 Greffa. I mean, even discarding Greffa off of the back of the Mind Shuffle lets you destroy a card. It's pretty cool. Then we've got the 1 Silver, we've got the 1 Ceruli, and now we are playing the 1 Lucian. Now the reason we're playing the 1 Lucian is if it is discarded to the graveyard by card effect, you special summon it, so the same as Gold and Silver. However, if it's discarded by an opponent's card effect, you get to special summon a Fiend type monster from the deck to either side of the field. Now obviously the idea is that we play cards, you can play Sectary or Security. I think it's Security Dragon. Yeah, you can play Security Dragon. Get there eventually, in your extra deck as well. And the benefit of being able to play Security Dragon is it lets you return, it's basically if it's co-linked, it lets you return the cards it points to, or it lets you return a card on the field to the hand. But in this particular version, and I have just completely remembered that I haven't put 1 card in here that you definitely need to be putting in here, so I'm just going to grab that right now, it's in my deck box. But the idea is, what you can do is you will get the ability of getting access to the Skull Archfiend of Chaos, which will be a level 6. You can make a rank 6 if you want to. More times what you want to do is you can just link it off and then you send it to the graveyard and you get to build on from there, which is really, really nice. Carrying on with the Dark World cards, 2 Gate, pretty standard. 1 Accession, 1 Corridor, which is a Dark card, not Dark World card, annoying. And then for the generics, we've got the 2 Trill Tactic Thrust, the 1 Trill Tactic Talents. I would not be surprised if this gets hit on the ban list. If it does, get rid of it, it's fine. 1 Card Destruction, 1 Sandwich Day. It is a 45 card deck. You can afford to cut these cards if you want to, entirely up to you. I play a very small danger package of 2 Mothman, 1 Nessie, and 1 Catalyzer. You can play more if you want to. I just feel that with the Dark Words, when you're using dangers, you would use dangers as your discard outlet. And quite the same that when you play this Sacred Beast version of this deck, you need to reduce the unknown discards for more controlled discards. And that's where the Mind Shuffle comes into play. That's where your Celtic Mystic comes into play. You've got a lot more to kind of utilize and control it, which is why you don't need to heavily rely on that randomization of the dangers of discarding the cards you don't want to be discarded, and then going on from there. Moving into the Light and Darkness cards. So for the Light and Darkness cards, we are playing the 1 Black Luster and the 1 Dark Chaos. Pretty standard. Like, really, you're not going to play less of this. You definitely don't want to be playing more of this. Then we've got the 3 Black Chaos. So the benefit of Black Chaos is it can be discarded to place the Mind Shuffle from the graveyard as well. So even if you were to randomly discard it off of the back of a danger, because that's the only option you have, your Black Chaos can get it back. But Black Chaos can also summon itself by putting back one of the ritual monsters from the graveyard as well. So again, it's another one of the ones that if they do get discarded, or in this build, because remember, Black Chaos is level 8, BLS is a level 8, and your Black Chaos is also a level 8, or your Dark Magician, Magician of Dark Chaos, get there eventually, is also a level 8. You can actually play some nice rank 8 options in this deck as well. Then we got 3 Griffo. This is the card you want to be seeing. This is kind of like the only downside of playing 45 cards is your consistency of seeing this turn 0 does go down. So if I can find the space to cut 5 more cards in here, I will do that. And the idea is that even though with Dark Words you don't play any hand interactions, you are usually pretty much of a gas style deck. This does give you a turn 0 play, which can be very, very effective. Then for the normal summoner there, I am on 3 Celtic Mystics. Now, the downside of this one is it doesn't so much matter about revealing your entire hand, but you have to have a card that mentions Light and Darkness in the deck. And this deck is about 60-40, so 60 Dark World card with like the non-engine pieces, or probably about 50% Dark World cards, 10% non-engine cards, and then 40% Light and Darkness cards. So the other normal summon for this one is my good old faithful Kokimiru Guardian. The reason I've not got the Kokimiru Guardian, and I would side the Kokimiru Guardian in when I want to respect Droll, is at this moment I feel that Droll is, some people are playing it in the main deck, some people are playing the side deck. If your environment is main deck in it, you probably need to sacrifice the Celtic Mystics. But the amount of times that this has worked for me in Light and Darkness in general, and I can imagine if this resolves, more times than not you're going to get massive advantage off the back of it. 2 Skull Archer in a Chaos. Semi-tempted to just play a 1 because I'm only playing the 1 Light and Darkness Ritual. But the idea is, because the Light and Darkness Ritual can recycle itself in the graveyard pretty much endlessly, the Skull Archfiend of Chaos can also recycle all your cards, not just your Skull cards, your Light and Darkness cards. So being able to recycle your gates if you really want to, so I don't need to play 3 if I can recycle them, can be quite useful. You can recycle your Gentas, you can recycle pretty much anything you want to back into the deck. The 1 Mind Shuffle, again, it's just that risk. If you hard open it up, that's just bad luck. You can play 2 if you want to, but I felt pushing it above 45 would be a little bit too much. And then playing 3 Ragged Records of Rights. You could play less of this if you wanted to, but the fact that this counts as going first anyway is a 6th Griffo, a 6th Celtic Mystic, a 6th Black Chaos. It just puts in too much work to undervalue it. But again, you could probably play 2 if you wanted to shave it down towards a 40 card deck. There are some edges that might need to be cut down, which is still something that I'm working on with this deck. But as a baseline, this is what you could be looking at. Now, this is definitely the more expensive version. If you're going to be playing a spicy version, play the Sacred Beast version, in my opinion. But it's still a very, very good version for you to utilize. For the extra deck, we're on 2 Greffa Dragon Overlord of the Dark World. More times than not, 1 will be enough, but the reason you play a second one is that you can actually utilize the Dark World Accession when you've used its graveyard effect to discard a card and add it back to the hand. Because when you do that, the idea is that you want to be able to use its effect again to discard 2 Dark Worlds from the hand. Yes, of course, they can banish from the graveyard as well. That can still be effective for you. It still gets you a 3200 boss monster. There's a lot that you need to consider. For the Synchros, you've got the Chaos Angel. There is a few different options. So you've got your Lucian, which is your, so you've got Lucian and Skull Archer in a Chaos, which is your level 6s. For your level 4s, you've got your Celtic Mystic, which is the light version to give you the maximum output of the Chaos Angel. But then you also have Snow, which is your level 4 as well. You've got Gentle, which is your level 4, so you can actually get to this quite easily. A Baguska is pretty much in here again if it doesn't survive the ban list, which I can't imagine why it wouldn't, but this is just in here if you get interacted with death. So if you went Celtic Mystic and your opponent went Droll on Res, and you were able to kind of special summon down a danger, or trigger off a danger effect or whatever, then you need to go into Baguska. The Gara is pretty self-explanatory on that one. The rank 8 lineup, we've got Zombie Vampire, I've then got number 90. Now, I would play number 90 or number 38. It really kind of comes down to which one you think is more effective for you. But the idea is you've got Monster Protection or Spell Protection, or one off. But a card that I like to play instead of number 38 is the 68 Sanapod. Now, the reason I like this one is it gains 100 attack and defense for each monster in the graveyard. Once per turn, you can detach material from this card, so obviously during your turn. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, this card cannot be destroyed by card effect, and neither player can special summon monsters from the graveyard. So if you're in a matchup where the graveyard is very, very important for your opponent, this can actually put in a lot of work for you. Again, side it out if you want to, put it in the side deck, just play number 38, entirely up to you. For Link monsters, I've got the one Muckraker from the Underworld, I've got the Akatic Magician, got the IP Masquerena, we've got the SP Little Knight, then we've got the Ramu Envoy of the Sacred Tomb. This is something that I haven't fully tested in Dark World yet. It's something that I want to be testing out a little bit more. But this requires 2 effect monsters, so very easily accessible. And then while this Link summon card is face up on the field, you get to normal summon a level 5 or higher monster without tribute. During the main phase, you can quick effect. Immediately after the effect resolves, normal summon a level 5 or higher dark monster. And then during the end phase, you get to reveal any number of monsters in your hand, place them on the bottom of the deck, so during your end phase, in any order, and then draw cards equal to the number placed. You can only use each effect once per turn, and remember, it's once while this Link summon card is face up on the field do you get to normal summon level 5 or higher without tribute. But during the main phase, you can still keep using the quick effect, which could be quite useful for you. It's something that I want to test out. I want to know like how, or test it as how relevant it's going to be popping up, but it kind of gives you a different option to play around with. Got the one Skuldred Saruja. Make this with your 4 different materials, draw 4, put some back, recycle your hand. And then the final card is the one Cross Sheep, because we can get a fusion monster to it for it to point to, we can get a synchro monster for it to point to, an Exezy it can point to, but more importantly, we can get it to point to a ritual monster, which means we're drawing 2, discarding. So it does have multiple uses, which is really, really nice, but being able to draw 2, ditch 2 can be very, very effective to bridge that Dark World-esque effect. And the fact that it's just generic 2 monsters with different names means it's so easily accessible, and then giving that draw power could be very, very useful, not to mention that if you're able to get this to point to a ritual and a fusion, reviving a monster as well, can be very, very cool. So it's another way to put Celtic Mystic into the graveyard, use the effect, bring it back, and then off you go. So that's it for the entire profile. For side decking options, I'd be considering Lava Golems, I'd be considering Kakimiru Guardians, or Salesban if you are really, really worried about certain effects. I'd then be looking at Solemn Accusations, but to be honest, if you're going first with this deck, you probably just go absolute ham. You'll probably go Salesban or Kakimiru Guardian, you cool draw on Lockbird, you try and hand loop your opponent, and then you just leave it there. Going second, you might want to consider some more aggressive field breaking cards, but again, it really kind of comes down to the preference and options you have available to you. So that is it for the entire profile. Massive shout out, and again, apologies. Please put in the comments down below, because obviously I did the legendary Art 5 decks opening, so my comment feed is like absolutely rammed with comments, so I haven't been able to recall where that comment came from, and I want to give you the credit for giving me the idea to put this deck together. So please, comments down below. I know what your like comment picture is, and that's what I've been trying to find. So I don't want anyone to be thinking I've just stolen the idea from someone that put it in the comments, because I like giving the credit where credit is due with creative ideas like this. So massive shout out to them. I will pin their comment in the comments of this video as well, so that they get the full credit of this. Just very, very creative idea, very creative insight, and then kind of go from there. Anyway, this is it for the concoction. I will be bringing you a test stand video as well, so you can kind of see how these overlap, how it works, how it plays. I'm actually excited to see how it plays. The only thing that's going to bug me is the fact that I've got a mixture of old quarter centuries, Starlights, and new Starlights in here. It's like the deck's going to look really shiny, which is really cool. But it's also going to look like the biggest mix mash of rarities ever as well. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Do like, comment, subscribe, share. Be back shortly with a test stand video, so don't you go anywhere. For absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.